Now, let's look at the let's look at the industry need. I'm just going to drink my water. 1 second. Apologies for that. Now, with industrial use, it is limited, for example, whereas with silver, it's high demand. So let's look at the affordability factor. So I've got a tickle in my throat. Silver is still within reach for new stackers. So you can get into the game with just $30, for example. Whereas with gold, it's more expensive and it's out of reach for many people, for beginners, for example. Now, that's not to say that you can't get gold at some point, but buy silver until you can afford to buy some gold, for example. You could do it that way. That way you're still stacking, you're still building your wealth, for example. Now, affordability factor, like I said, silver, $30, you can't beat it. Look, and I'll tell you something. I got this coin for $34, for example, okay, and I've trebled what I paid for example. So that's just giving you a good idea, for example, with regards to silver. You can get some surprises. Now, that is a bullion mint coin, and there's about 15,000 available worldwide, so it is like a collector's type of coin, for example, silver coin, 1 ounce. But gold is expensive, like I said, and it's out of reach for a lot of beginners. So let's look at the economic stresses, for example. So US Fed, for example, they're quietly printing, again, dollars, you know, just keep printing that money, you know, and it's causing dollar instability. You know, we can't pretend, we can't brush things under the carpet and hope it's going to go away, because it's not going away. We are seeing this in our everyday life. When we go to the supermarkets, when we go shopping, we're seeing that things are increasing in price, for example. So banks are tightening up credit right now, so confidence is falling. For example, the central banks are hoarding gold. Yes, they are hoarding gold. They are buying gold and silver in tons, not ounces, but actually in tons. Lorry loads, that's what I mean, van loads. So if they're doing that, what do you think that means? They're buying gold and silver by the tons. So if fiat weakens, for example, further, silver could become the new people gold. It's the people gold. Silver is the people gold because it's achievable, for example. Silver is up whilst the stock market shows instability. Now, silver is gone down a very small percentage, okay? Gold has gone down a bit, but it's still holding its own, and it still stands the test of time, for example. So I believe in both gold and silver, don't get me wrong, but you know, like I said, silver is the people's gold, for example. Okay, so let me go further into May 2025 strategy here. So I'm stacking 1 ounce coins, junk silver, low, premium bars, for example. And why am I doing that? Silver is under $35. It is a steal with 3x potential. I showed you that coin, for example, which I believe I have 3x my potential. So watch the gold to silver ratio daily. That's one of the things that you must do. Now, I am coming on here daily anyway, talking about gold and silver. And if it drops under 70, silver breakout may be underway, for example. So what I want you to do is to join me on my journey and Download my free stacker. I've got a 10-year stacker here. Join me. I'm going to be hosting gold, silver stacking parties. And I want to be able to show you that how you can do the same, for example, buying scrap gold and silver jewelry. It is amazing. I did it in 2007, for example. I was hosting gold parties in the UK at the time, for example, and I was buying broken jewelry. I was buying, the odd earring, for example. People would host a party and I would show up with my scales, my acid tests, my testers, my eye loops, my spot prices for the day, and I would come out with jewelry. Even though it was broken, it was still gold or silver, for example. So for me, that worked really well. I then was able to turn that into gold and silver bars. I was able to take it to a refinery and they smelted down the gold and silver and turned them into real gold and silver bars. And that increased as well. But what was the amazing thing is that I brought the gold and silver for 30% less than what the spot price was, because it was broken jewelry.